Helps if I unmute the mic. Welcome, everybody. And mic is unmuted finally. And I see no one here yet. Helps if I unmute the mic. Welcome, everybody. Turn the speaker down so I don't have to hear myself. And hopefully we'll have some people in here real soon. We'll go ahead and put our little Streamlabs chat bot up. He's the guy that shows my email and stuff like that. I'm surprised Trinity's not here already. My goodness. Or Ken. Well, we'll just sip on my coffee until they get here. A little reminder, we do support Patreon here. So you want to join Patreon? Take a look down in the description. And there's a link to join Patreon. It's only $1 a month. It does help the channel out. And when we get some more members here, we'll be doing some drawings for prints of mine. I'll be giving them away, one at a time usually. I do believe we have 3 members on Patreon at the moment. I'd like to get up to about 10 people or so before we start doing some drawings to really, make it worthwhile. Because I don't even charge for the shipping, so hopefully we'll get some people joining it. $1 a month, not much for anybody. You can get bigger memberships, which will have better privileges. When you go into Patreon, you can read everything about it, and it'll tell you what the different benefits are for the different levels. And I haven't got anybody in the upper levels yet, so but at some point, some of the people in the upper levels, $5 level and up, they'll get to watch a lot of the videos, probably most of them, before anybody else gets to see them. So they'll get that benefit. And a benefit of some different drawings for paintings and stuff like that. Well, we're 3 minutes in, and no one's joined yet. It could be a busy night for everybody. They may be out doing things on their own, might be out having a late dinner. In fact, the wife and I we went out and had dinner tonight. It's been great. It's been sad losing our employment after all these years and everything, and having to turn the group home or shut it down. And but we have to move and all that good stuff, and there are some benefits because for way over 20 years we didn't get to just go out whenever we wanted to for dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever. We just couldn't do it. Something was always going on. Well, we could go out for breakfast technically, but by the time the clients left for workshop and stuff, it was kind of late for that. Looks like we got a second person in here, or it might be just YouTube throwing the wrong number. Find out in a second. Looks like YouTube throwing a wrong number. I'll do a fair warning. If I don't get anybody within like 10 minutes, I will shut it down. I don't want to sit here and talk and talk. Ah, there's somebody. Trinity, hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? So my granddaughter shows up finally. Maybe everybody's just going to be late tonight. And how are you tonight? You good? That's nice. Hmm. Oh, a little bit tired for some reason, but I don't know why my chat's not going live here. What's going on here? There we go. There we go. Wonder what was going on. Ah, boy. Blood pressure's still pretty high today. But Nan and I went out to have dinner tonight, which has been nice. We've been able to do that a few times since all this began. Can't really afford to do it much, but kind of decided we've earned it from all these years of not being able to do it. And well, at least I went and worked on the camper some today, and your dad did some work on it today, and Nina was here doing some more packing and stuff. A lot of stuff to pack. Some things have been being held to the last minute, like my computers and everything in the office here, because can't do the live stream without them. So I have to wait for like the day we're moving or the day before or whatever before I pack it all up. And plus we still gotta get the shed moved. We gotta do that as soon as we can. We've got most of it emptied out now finally. We're gonna try to be out of here by the 1st of this next month. So we've got like, a little over 2 weeks. In fact, my birthday will probably be the last day we're here, which is the 31st. So the day after my birthday, we should be in the new place. Hopefully. Hopefully it works out that way. Although, I mean, we were told that if we needed a few more days, we can take it, but it's not a hard line, May 31st, that we gotta be out of here. I mean, we were looking at it that way, but we were told that it's not a hard line. We can take a few more days or so if we need it, you know. But we're trying to do it, just get it done. We're getting very, very tired of all the moving and stuff and, dealing with moving the clients and stuff. So, I mean, we've had to just not move ourselves, but everybody else out. And it's been a lot of work. Too much on us, really. But Caitlin come out and we come out and helped us with the shed. That helped a lot. Separated stuff. I did sell the Halloween stuff. I think I told you all that yesterday. We didn't get a lot. We could have got a lot more probably, but I didn't really want to sit up at Papa's and sell it. It just we had too much other stuff to do. And there was so much of it. I wanted to sell it and get rid of it so that we had room in the storage area that we have right now, um, to have more room for stuff in there. I didn't want to have to dig it all out either because it was kind of in there first. It's Saturday night, and it's just you and me so far, which is okay, but I guess everybody's out having a good time, except me and you. We're here. We're here having a good time, chit-chatting. Of course, as we know, we could do that on the phone. It could be. Although, Recon and Ken and Doc and a lot of them guys, they usually are home on Saturday night too, so they usually do skip in. Brad was supposed to come in tonight, the millionaire vlog guy. It's a friend of mine. Used to have a scratcher channel, and he actually is a millionaire. He won the $10,000 scratch off ticket. I mean, $10 million scratch off ticket. So, but him and I became friends. And I did that picture of his daughter for him, and he was supposed to be here tonight too, but I didn't expect him until later. Anyway, there's Velvet. Hey, Velvet, how are you? Trinity and I were just thinking that nobody was going to show up. Oh, Minnie's here too. Oh, you here to hear me talking to myself, huh? That's fine, Trinity. That's fine. Check with me first, though, Trinity, because I may have some done already. And if I send them to you directly, I'll actually get a little more for them than off the website. But that's up to you. Of course, if you want done like on Canvas, then you have to get them through the website. How are you tonight, Minnie? Well, you must have really been having a good laugh, Minnie, while I'm sitting here talking to myself before I thought anybody was here. Okay, I know how you are now. Okay, that's fine. There's been more than a few times I literally have sat here and talking to myself for quite a while. I think at least 2 or 3 times I finally decided to just log off because I ran out of things to say. People don't know how difficult it is to sit here and talk to yourself and try to be entertaining at the same time at some level. I pretty much know when the entertainment is done. Okay, yeah, you were here. Definitely. Definitely. I'm actually a little surprised Ken has been coming on. He's usually been right here when I logged in. Yeah, sometimes I'm a few minutes late. My clocks they're all different. I tried to keep setting them at the same time, but one's fast and one's slow and whatever, so I just go with whichever one I'm looking at the time. I do try to go by my computer time, but oddly enough, which is surprising, the internet is supposed to be keeping the time correct on my computer and on my phone. They're always different. They're never the same. Anybody else ever notice that? 'Cause my computer right now says it's 10:45. My phone actually says it's 10:45. That's the first time in a while. But usually there's a couple minutes difference, 2 or 3 minutes difference. Yes, yes, you knew it was you, Minnie. I figured it was you, even when I saw anonymous on it, and she definitely appreciates it, and I appreciate it too. Thank you for the donation. Definitely helps her. Doesn't take much to help, that's for sure. I put some there helping her to get it started. Of course, we'll give her some in person because then she gets it all. I've been going crazy trying to figure out which internet to get. I don't really like my DSL here that much, but price-wise, it's not bad. It's $50 a month. Everybody that I've checked with, that's all these wireless companies, and they don't get they get a lot of lag. A lot of them do. HughesNet's pretty laggy. Viastat. I mean, all of them. The Fire Wi-Fi, and I haven't heard very many good reviews on really any of them that I've seen. Yeah, I have a DSL. I've had a DSL for a long, long, long time, but it's hardwired. Usually, it's pretty good. I have the extreme package, but none of these satellite providers in this area have good Wi-Fi, internet, but they charge extremely a lot of money, like $112 a month just for the internet. That's ridiculous. And their speed isn't as good as DSL here because I have the extreme DSL, and the speed is really better than most of these wireless companies have, and less than half the amount of money. Although I do get lag, but not as bad as the wireless ones. I'm having a really hard time getting one of them companies because of the reviews. The reviews are horrible. Plus, it's more than twice the amount of money. I don't want to pay that much money. We're on just our Social Security now. We don't have the income anymore. But I mean, eventually we get moved and whatever I want to watch. I want to look online for some online work. Well, I mean, I have Wi-Fi with DSL, because the router is, that's all Wi-Fi too. But no, but my computer is hardwired into the router. But I do have Wi-Fi with it. So, well, yeah, I'd like to retire, but it's not enough money Social Security is not enough money to retire. And we didn't get any kind of a retirement plan for this place at all. And the state don't give you anything because the state does not pay us personally. They may pay for the clients to be here, but that doesn't make it a state job, unfortunately. If it did, yeah, we could get a state retirement, but we don't have that benefit. In the last 3 or 4 years, we took a huge cut in pay to keep this place open, hoping that we'd be able to survive the problem of getting clients until we could get more clients. And we lost $800 a month for several years. That's a lot of money we lost just trying to keep this place open so the ones that were here wouldn't have to move. But the eventuality was they had to move, and we lose all that money because they don't make it up. And the end result was bad because we took our retirement early to make up for the loss that we had to take so we could pay our bills, which really cost us in the long run. But no, I'd love to be able to just totally retire, but that's just not going to happen. In fact, most of the people that I know my age, they want to retire, but unless they've got a really, really good retirement plan from work and big 401ks and all that stuff, they can't do it. Even some of them that I know that have retirement plans from work. I know a guy worked for the VA hospital for 33 years. He retired. He didn't make enough money from his retirement to live. He had to get another job, another part-time job. And that's for 33 years working for the government. And for some reason, he didn't even get that much Social Security because of retirement. I don't know how they figured it, but it seemed like he was getting screwed quite a bit. Because he thought he'd get his full Social Security and his retirement check, but he didn't. I don't know what happened there. That doesn't make sense. You're paying a Social Security all your life, and you get retirement from your job, and all of a sudden, they cut your Social Security because of it? That just don't seem right. Yeah, that's a government ripoff. It really is. It's a government ripoff. You paid all that money in Social Security, and this guy made good money. He made $1,000 a week. $1,000 a week when he retired. When he retired, his retirement was only like $1,500 a month, and that was including Social Security. What little bit they did give him, I mean, they just put the shaft to him, and he held off retiring for 2 or 3 years because he was afraid of something like that happening, and it did. Unfortunately, some of us don't make big bucks. It's just you don't have that money to invest and do all the stuff you need to do to have a nice retirement, especially with this area where we live in here. There is no big bucks. But one thing I did learn, if I was younger, I'd know: do not ever count on Social Security for your retirement because that's just a little slush fund. You better have a good retirement plan, good 401k, and some investments, or you're never going to make it. I put my fan on. But anyway, and I know there's a lot of people in this area that have had no choice but to retire because of their health. And if it wasn't for Meals on Wheels, they wouldn't even eat. In fact, the story about people eating cat food and dog food is true. I've seen it because people just don't have the money. Yep, definitely. Definitely. I never had 401k available to me in any place that I ever worked, unfortunately. My youngest daughter's husband, he invested in 401k. But like a dummy, he pulled some of the money out a couple of times before he passed away. But that's what people do, sometimes they have to pull some of that money out. Life has its little ups and downs, and when emergencies come up or something comes up, that's what happens. Yeah. Yeah, that was That's a great thing to have, 401k, and they match what you put in. I think they do that in the service now. When I was in the service back in the early '70s, the 401k was kinda just getting its start, really, and, we never had that kind of an option. I regret not staying in the service. I really do. I'd have retired very young. Back then, it was only 20 years for retirement. I went in when I was 17. At 47, I could have retired. Probably would have stayed in longer, but at 47, I could have retired. Yeah, corporate finance, yeah, that would be a good job. 35 years. That's a long time. You've been with the same place or just in corporate finance with different companies? Yeah, I'm Navy too. I'm ex-Navy. Most of my family were Navy. I have a grandson who's in the Army, but I had one uncle that was really high up in the Army. Actually, he was with Secret Service, but he was still Army. But my grandfather was a first class petty officer. My uncles were second class petty officers. I had another uncle that was an actual Commodore, which is the equivalent to, a Rear Admiral, many, many years ago. Ah, you worked in Boston before California. So that's where the Boston skyline came in. I do intend to do that at some point, Minnie. I've actually seen some done to get a better idea how they really do a good job on it. I am going to tackle it for you one day. And when I do, you'll get the first option at it if you want it. If I had the time right now, I'd probably already would have had it done. I actually have a lot of family around Boston. In fact, right on the outskirts, Quincy, Massachusetts. A couple other places. I used to do some business with a guy down in Andover. I knew some people in Springfield, or Greenfield, rather. Greenfield, not Springfield. Greenfield. But I was born actually in Keene, New Hampshire, which is right over the border in New Hampshire, not that far from Boston. Yeah, in fact, one of my aunts, she lived there all her life, raised all her kids there. And God, she had a lot of kids. She was a Cassini. You might know that name. I don't know. A lot of them Cassinis around there. Oh, I miss New Hampshire a lot, especially in the fall. And I really enjoyed riding my motorcycle in New Hampshire because of the mountains and the it's not straight lines like in Florida. In Florida, it's like straight line, take a left, take a right, straight again. It's there's no mountains. It's kind of boring. Wow, 21 kids. Holy Moses. Ah, got home, huh, Velvet? That's good. I I thought my wife was from a big family. My wife was the youngest of 13. In fact, most of her brothers and sisters are gone now. Well, most of her brothers. In fact, there was only 2 girls out of the 13. We did not that long ago, Trinity. Well, it's been quite a while, but we went up, twice since we've been here at the group home. We went to New Hampshire twice, we went to New York once. And, yeah, I mean, my wife was from I met my wife in northern New Hampshire, a place called Littleton. It's up by Franconia, by where the old man of the mountain is up there. But she was actually born in Burlington, Vermont. Yeah, I think you're right, Trinity. Yeah, 2 of them passed away, yeah. Yeah, Trinity even Trinity, my granddaughter, doesn't have any idea how large her family really is on this side. I did a lot of the family tree, and I've got it back to like the late 1400s. Most of our relatives were from England and some from Ireland, Nova Scotia. Yeah, and it's actually been a lot more that's been pulled up since then. I haven't hasn't been added to it, but there's been a lot more that could have been added. Actually, yes, Minnie. We lived in a little town called Gilsum, New Hampshire. Most of when I was really young. And of course, back then kids could walk around without the fear of getting picked up and hijacked and everything else and whatever. But we ran the neighborhood basically. We knew all the neighbors anyway. But where we lived in New Hampshire in Gilsum, which is next to Keene, everywhere you walked, just about there was apple trees everywhere. In fact, if I walked to town, which is probably a mile and a half, I never got hungry because there were so many apple trees. I could pick the apples and eat them, in the summer. They had the banana apples, pear apples, Macintosh apples, every kind of apple you can imagine, was in the area that I was in. And one of our neighbors actually had an apple orchard, and he had some beautiful apples. And he sprayed them and everything, and he didn't care that much about them except, he just maintained them anyway for people that wanted them. And we literally filled up a school bus with apples once, and my mother made everything you can think of with apples, preserves and apple pickles and applesauce and pies and everything else. Excuse me. What's up, Recon? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, you know what the penalty is for being late? We're just gonna have to, tack that onto your, bill. I guess you won't be eating at, Taco Bell next week. I don't blame them, Minnie. Yeah, California's not all that cheap. I know I lived in, I was stationed in San Diego on 32nd Street Naval Station. That's where the strip was. That was our home port. But because I was from such small towns, when I first went in the Navy, I was 17. It scared the crap out of me when I got to California and saw San Diego. I mean, it blew my mind. I looked around, I mean, I got to the main street of San Diego, and I don't know if you've been to San Diego, but the sidewalks are bigger than highways with these thousands of people walking back and forth, two-way traffic. I mean, it was mind-boggling, mind-boggling. But I learned to really like it, it was okay, but, I adapted to it eventually. It did scare me for a while. I got one of the guys on the ship to kinda show me around some for a while until I got used to the place. Oh, yeah, I've watched a lot of those Bushman pranks. Yeah, they're pretty funny. Yeah, I've watched lots of them pranks. And the old guy in the old Western getup, he sits there real still, and people sit beside him and to take a picture or whatever, and then he'll move and scare the crap out of them. Yeah, I had a ball watching them. Oh, you poor thing, Recon. Aw. Well, you should have went to Taco Bell. The other thing that we have a lot of in New Hampshire, especially southern New Hampshire, many was, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, a lot of the berries. I mean, we used to go picking for they had big old blueberries where we lived. My mother would want us to go pick them every year, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, whatever, and we did. We'd come back with giant bags full of them. My mother was brought up to do canning. I mean, she make preserves and jelly and canned things and whatever. Man, you got 24-hour everything in California, at least in San Diego when I was there. It seemed like the place never closed. You know what I miss in California, Minnie? Jack in the Box restaurant. I know it's just a fast food joint, but I used to love the Jack in the Box restaurant. The burgers they had, I loved them. It's been a long, long time since I've been able to eat at the Jack in the Box. I'm sure they got some this way more easterly from California, but I don't know where. There's nothing like that in Florida that I know of. Yeah, yeah, I used to love Jack in the Box. They're I'm sure they're different by now. We're talking over 45 years ago when I was there. That the Big Mac sauce is basically Thousand Island dressing. What it tastes like to me. I like the sauce myself. I had a friend that worked at McDonald's once, and I used to talk him into putting some of the special sauce on, a big double cheeseburger or something. Hey, Velvet, when you go to Georgia, do you ever see a Jack in the Box in Georgia? I don't go to Georgia. I've only been through, but I never noticed any Jack in the Box up there. But it'd be almost worth it to take a drive up there if there was one. Yeah, we have McDonald's that are open 24 hours too. We're over in Chiefland. There's a couple more over this way too, one in Trenton and Jonesville, but they close. I think they close about 10 or 12. Velvet, you still there? Did you hear me? Hello? Wake up, Velvet. Trinity, you still with us, sweetie? Okay, I just wonder if you're still here, Trinity. You got any Jack in the Box restaurants up there in Mississippi where you live? I'm thinking there's a possibility that there might be a Jack in the Box there where Trinity lives. Mayonnaise is one of my favorite things on a burger. You don't, not that you know of? Oh, well. It was worth a try. I guess they must be on East Coast. I'll have to look them up online and see where they really are. I think it by now, Jack in the Box would be over on the East Coast and West Coast. I didn't think they were strictly going to be West Coast because they're pretty popular. So I would have thought they'd have made their way over here by now. Or pretty dang close. That's too bad. You had Jack in the Box there, Recon? I say, where are you, Recon? Virginia? I don't remember. You do know I have like dementia, right? I don't remember that stuff. So your address is safe with me because I couldn't remember it if I tried. We have Publix. I've never heard of Kroger's, but we got plenty of Publix around here. I like Publix, they're just a bit pricey. You, yeah, 30 years ago, but were you in Virginia? I don't remember. I'm gonna be really angry if you're in Virginia because I've been to Virginia many, many times 30 years ago. And if I saw a Jack in the Box, I can guarantee you I'd have pulled over. That would have brought back some old memories. Ah, well, we have a Ralph's Burger here too, but I guarantee you that's not the same Ralph's. Um, I do believe there is a Costco somewhere. I've never been to a Costco here, but I think most people here use Costco online. We have, lots of Walmarts, and we have several super Walmarts, um, Big Lots, Sam's Club. We got a huge Sam's Club. That place is huge. Of course, we have other department stores. We got a lot of malls here, J.C. Penney's and Belk's and all them. Yeah, I'm a member of Sam's Club. I almost joined Costco once, but, it would've been online. Stop bragging, Recon. Nobody cares about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or football. Actually, we do, but I'm not gonna admit it. Bragger. I live right next to the University of Florida, where Shands Hospital is, which is renowned all over the world, supposedly. Developmental medicine and all that crap. The home of the Gators. That's actually one of the songs I actually like of Elvis's too, "Don't." The 2 music videos I did sounded kinda crappy. I actually am planning on doing some that will sound decent eventually. I mean, I played in a band, a couple different bands. My voice is not as great as it used to be, but was a lot better at one time. I know most of Elvis's songs, Minnie. No, I don't think so. I might have stumbled across them in the past, Recon. Sam Cooke's a good singer, yeah, definitely is. I actually thought Elvis would be your number 1 guy. I like a lot of the older artists, even older than me, you know. My taste in music is some people are strange because I like a lot of the oldies and like a lot of the newer stuff. I mean, it's kinda mixed up. I like a little country, a little rock and roll, I kinda it's all mixed in. And of course, playing in a band, you had to play some of everything, really. George Strait, I like George Strait. He's good. He's got some good songs. Um, we've talked about music before. I mean, we do have everybody has a lot of favorites, and I know I do. I don't really have a per se favorite anymore because there's just too many songs that I like, that I really like. All the way back to Creedence Clearwater Revival and the Beatles. I always loved the Beatles. I don't really like too much heavy metal at all. I don't like rap at all, and rap should never be in the vocabulary that's called music. That's just my thought. Um, there's just a lot of people that are very talented out there. Yeah, I've done the DJ thing in the past. Yeah, I'm not no rap guy, that's for sure. My kids like it a lot, but I never did. I think probably about the only rap song I liked was the one that Hammer did. Well, I mean, I like a lot of the R&B, the Four Tops, Temptations. A lot of them older groups I really liked a lot. Um, I know there is a little bit of rap in some of the songs that I do like, but not like the really hardcore cussing up a storm, shouting crap. I just don't like that. Yeah, yeah, you got a different era on me. No, my birthday is May 31st. It's coming right up. I'll be 65 in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. And then my anniversary is June 19th, and we'll have been married for 45 years. Or forever. Pretty much the same thing. 45 years, forever. Same thing. If you really look at it's really amazing how talented a lot of people are. I mean, look at, Idol and all those different programs, The Voice, all of them, and I've watched lots of them. You can watch them online all you want, but I mean, this I watch them on TV. There are some really super talented people out there, way more than people ever realized, because until these shows came along, people weren't seeing all that talent that's out there, and there's some extremely talented people out there. Um, no, I don't really care about Waylon Jennings or George Jones. I mean, they were okay, but I'm not really a fan of them. Conway Twitty, he had a few good songs, but no, that's really not my genre, really. I mean, I grew up with more rock and roll like the Beatles, the Bee Gees, Pink Floyd, um, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Elvis, and the list goes on and on and on. Gordon Lightfoot, I actually love his playing and singing. Even back then, Elton John. There was a lot of people that I really liked a lot. I mean, even Johnny Cash was not really somebody I really looked at musically that much. Some of the famous country guys. I wasn't really into country so much back then, really. It wasn't. You know, I was, in the 60s and the 70s, flower power back then and all that crap. And, you know, the mamas and the papas, um, Herman's Hermits, Cream, Bob Dylan. I mean, there's a huge list of artists from back then that I listened to. The Throgs, probably some of these guys you never even heard of. The Drifters. Yeah, I never heard of LSG either myself, but it doesn't surprise me. Um, Don McLean, American Pie. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I listened to back then. Chicago, liked Chicago quite a bit. They were a good band back then. Bee Gees. Um, Heck, I even liked disco for a while. They had some good disco songs there for a while. I enjoyed it. Didn't bother me at all. I still listen to some rock and roll and stuff, but I like some of the disco that was out. It wasn't bad. The Luis got shot again today, huh? Wow. I guess he needs to get some better bodyguards. I bet Trinity listens to all the stuff you guys have mentioned. Velvet probably does too. It wouldn't surprise me. You better be careful, Recon. You're getting older. You may be hip in the music, but you might break a hip pretty soon. You're getting old. Shoot, I pulled my back out, as you guys know, not too long ago. All I gotta do is just move just right and throw my back out. There you go. See? Trinity's like her grandfather. She likes a wide variety of music. Runs in the family. I mean, it just runs in the family. Yeah, he's dang lucky. It must have just nicked him. That should have took his throat right out. An AK-47. Wow. Yeah, I've rode bikes all my life, so of course I like a lot of the biker stuff too. Born to be Wild, Magic Carpet Ride, all that stuff like that. Yes, you are, Trinity. You're just like your grandfather. Poor thing. But I adore you anyway. You can be like me all you want. I don't mind at all. Not a bit. Well, guys, we've been on an hour, so I think we're going to shut it down for the night. I know I gotta get up early. I don't know about you guys, but I've gotta get up early and get to work on this camper some more. Ordered a couple of parts tonight to fix the water heater. I know you do, sweetheart. I love you more than you can ever imagine. So we'll go ahead and we'll shut her down tonight, guys. Minnie, thanks for coming. I appreciate you coming and hanging with us. And um, sometime you're gonna have to show us some of your craft work. It would be interesting to see that. And in fact, I can pull you up here anytime you want to show it. You just take your phone and turn around and show us some of your crafts, and anybody can see it. That would be a nice thing to do sometime. Good night, Trinity. Have a good night, sweetheart. Thank you for coming, as always. I appreciate it. Love you too. You did, huh? All right, Recon. You don't have to be bragging about it now. You lost me at the break part. Well, you can take pictures of it and show us the pictures. You can do that on your computer. You can share what's on your computer. Just pull the picture up and then share it. Good night, Minnie. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. And don't be a stranger. Don't make me come begging for you to come back again because we start missing you. Then we get the mini withdrawals. So then we have to panic and go run you down. So you got to come a little bit more often. Velvet, thanks for coming. I appreciate you coming as always. You've always been a great supporter. I appreciate it. And take care. I know you love when men beg. I knew that. I should have known that was coming. Well, you had me begging, but at least you came. I appreciate it. We do for sure. Have a good night, everyone. Recon, take care of yourself, buddy. As always, I appreciate you coming every night. You've been a great supporter for me. So we'll talk to you later, too. Have a good night, everyone. Good night. Stay safe.